This show is designed to address the issue of why is Tesla's stock price up $100 today, and looks like it's going to probably do $200 or $300 next week. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. We want to thank our Patreon supporters and subscribers. If you enjoy the show, please like and subscribe. So today's show is focused on the fact that we were easing into our Friday. Tesla's stock price was hanging around $1,400 and all of a sudden exploded up. The driver for this, to our understanding, is the fact that there was an article that came out in Barron's. And what Barron's indicated is that based on the process with which Yahoo joined the S&P, there's a high likelihood that Tesla's stock price is worth approximately $2,200 a share. So this immediately drove the price of the stock up, but there's a whole bunch of folks over the weekend, etc., that will want in on this news. And so we wanted to put something out there to at least give a feel for what was going on. The one other thing that's kind of lurking right now is the fact that if Tesla in fact closes on $2,000 a share, there are a large number of shorters who are in very, very bad shape. So we're actually expecting there to be initially push stock price up, and then shorters needing to get out of positions that they've acquired, having to get out. And so this could result in a series of updrafts on the stock over the next 2 or 3 business days, especially as the 3-day rule hits, that I think could be substantially impactful on the stock price. So I think it's a pretty exciting time, and we really look forward to what the outcome of all this is, because currently there's a little bit of unknown, because not everybody got a chance to see the Barron's article or an opportunity to wrestle the logic. But in the same way as stocks can move down rather dramatically on news, they also can move up, and this is a clear example of that. I also wanted to sort of bounce into other things that we've been seeing that are very strange around the stock right now. One of the biggest ones is the fact that the options for Tesla are actually between double and triple what prices were like a week or 2 ago. And more volatility for the stock as well. And all of this is driven by the fact that there are several variables that are kind of lurking here. One of them is that the closer you get to earnings, the higher the delta is. There are 3 components of the evaluation of an option. That's delta, or the amount of volatility, time, proximity to a certain price, and proximity, delta, and time are the 3 components of an options price. So as we close in on earnings for the 22nd for Tesla, obviously the time is closing in a little bit, but it's really about the fact that the delta has gone extremely high, anticipatory of the fact that this earnings announcement will result in a fairly large move of the stock price. So we kind of look forward to how this is all going to play out, and I think that the way it's going to play out is really good for Tesla, because we've covered a number of variables. The biggest one being that they exceeded production by 20%, or 20,000 vehicles, and that's the type of delivery of production that allows them to meet the profitability goals that are necessary to get to profitability and then be included in the S&P. So we're a little bit surprised, like everybody else, by this whole development, because Barron's actually is doing some good reporting, which is rare. Barron's is a Wall Street Journal property, and the last time we looked at the journal in Barron's, they were particularly hyping up the fact that Tesla was 5% down in terms of deliveries this quarter. And to have them come out with news like this, I think, is good reporting. And I think it perhaps puts a little bit of hope out there for us that we'll see Wall Street Journal and Barron start embracing Tesla as a well-run company that's doing a really good job. Um, the other, there are other points to be made here. Um, I think the biggest one is just the fact that it's nice to see there's an interesting transition where companies can transition from being sort of the bad boy, new kid on the block that has no respect into companies that are now considered sort of industry leaders and that are big time contributors. And I do believe this is what's going on for Tesla. I have to say that I'm a little bit confused right now. We did a story that we aired this morning about the fact that there was a $20 billion short that was put on Tesla. And instead of this doing what they thought, which is to lower the stock price, this $20 billion could end up being chewed up very quickly by those that are making money on the call side or upside of the Tesla stock price. I was and still am confused as to why anyone would want to short Tesla when the entry into the S&P creates a crazy supply-demand problem where there are a large number of individual portfolios through an index that are now required to hold the stock. And so you have a weird phenomenon here where Tesla's getting big enough where once it enters the S&P, it's actually going to be a fairly large portion of it because of what their market cap is at. So I just was very confused after hearing about the $20 billion committed to shorting Tesla. I was kind of stunned because your short process theoretically should have gotten you a 1 to 200 point down as you implemented your process. The issue, though, is something that we already brought up, which is once you're dealing with the S&P, you have a severe demand push that goes with the S&P, and that demand push is what starts to affect the acceleration of the value of the stock price. So I think that another thing we should be expecting right now is what I want to call a blowout. So basically, there are these hedge funds that had money that they've put in to short Tesla. The challenge, though, is as the stock price rises, they potentially face some very big losses, and they have to close out their positions. So they even, in the process of closing out those positions, are going to actually add to the Tesla stock price increase or win. So this is a whole crazy situation that's going on right now. And it's an interesting one because one of the challenges is when big companies like Tesla enter the S&P or other indices, there are a number of new things that happens to the stock that are unpredictable. And in theory, one might say that predictability is for a lower price or something of that ilk. But there's also the possibility of a lot higher price because Tesla's not issuing new shares right now to go with existing shares. So the shares that are out there are going to be in heavy demand from both the S&P as well as shorts and individuals and other entities that are holding. So, this is another round for Kathy Woods, who predicted a $3,000 stock price for Tesla. There's also a bunch of lurking questions, and we've talked a little bit about it. And one of those that I think is unknown but a good question is that there's a little game going in numbers between Elon and the market. Elon has said we're confident about 500,000 units this year, and analysts have been trying to work off of that number. The problem, though, is that the run rate that was stated for China, in theory, is supposed to be at a run rate about 500,000 vehicles a year, starting around June of this year. So if you're getting 500,000 from China, 500,000 from the U.S., that's 1 million cars. And a lot of the assumptions from analysts assume something in the 500,000 to 600,000 vehicles per year production zone. So if in fact they are being built and delivered in China, there's another issue there, which is it's likely that unlike a lot of places that slow down once they enter the S&P, Tesla's increasing its sales across a number of vehicles and a number of locations for production, I think adds significantly to its productive capacity. So the bottom line is, do not be surprised if Tesla keeps moving upward when it should be moving down as people are trying to hold the price down or do other things. At any rate, I want to thank you for joining us on our special Stock Up 100 Points Friday. Because there are a lot of people who didn't participate, this just came out now. Do not be surprised if we don't see another 50 to 100 point move in the coming couple of business days as more people get wind of what's gone on. At any rate, this is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. Please take time to like and subscribe. Tschüss, macht's gut, au revoir, lehitraot, hibar, hoda hafez, hey do, strasvice, ni hao ma. And in Jamaica, we say, enough respect, walk good, man. Have a great day. We look forward to our next conversation and look forward to your comments and would appreciate a like. Have a great day, and bye for now.